Hello and welcome to the Picturepark how-to series. You have already learned within other videos about the user interface of Picturepark and some functionalities. Today you will learn about permission management within our application. Picturepark is very powerful in terms of permissions. You can also add an LDAP configuration to the application. That means you would import users and groups from an existing Active Directory. I will now have a look into the user management of Picturepark. Just go under Administration, Users and Groups and Rights. You will find in here all the user groups which are now here manually created. As I mentioned, you can also import them from an Active Directory via LDAP. If I click onto a user group, I will see the name of the user group. I can specify that every new user is automatically assigned to that user group. And in here I can also specify now the user rights. I will not go into all details and give you just a quick overview. In the user rights, I can specify if this user from that group, for example, can create another user group, if they can, for example, create assets in general in the system. That does not matter, that does not define where they can actually do that. You can do this more gradually later on in the structures, but you can define like a global right in here. You can also say, for example, if they are allowed to change the asset order, if they can, for example, manage personal mailings, or for example all mailings of the system. So what you can do in terms of multi-tenancy, you can also define, for example, department managers, head of divisions which are managing their own Picturepark channel more or less in Picturepark. In here in the user and group rights management, you would even be able to define if they're allowed to see other groups, if they can edit other groups, for example, if they can change the group rights from other groups or from their own group, and so on. Then basically, this is very spectacular in Picturepark, you can even define the field rights for that group. That means you can say, for example, can that user group see that specific metadata field in Picturepark, or even can they edit the entries of that metadata field. And this is very important because you don't want sometimes people editing certain fields because they may be retrieved from third-party applications. The next step now is the so-called right templates. Within Picturepark, we use right templates to more easier assign rights to the assets when you upload them. I just go under Administration, go under Right Templates, and in the right templates you have three different tabs. You have rights for the assets itself, which you upload into the system. You have rights for the categories, which you see here on the left side. And you have rights for the derivatives, so for the formats itself. That means, can that user download basically an object in all available formats, or only in a specific format, for example in a watermark format. With the asset rights, for example, I can go on Public for All. You will see, okay, which user group can assign that right template in general, and then when you go into asset rights, you would see what is the effect of that right template onto the asset. So you would see, okay, all the user groups now with a Public for All right template can see the object, only certain user groups can edit or change the right and statistics, and you can of course go into more extended rights and have a look, for example, if that user group is allowed to delete the asset, if they can update the file and create an historic version, for example, or if they can edit the metadata fields which a group is allowed to edit in general. So these rights also take effect from the user group itself. In the categories itself, you would see, for example, that there is a right template called Editor's View, and the Editor View right template means that only partners and employees in that example here can view the category itself. In order to see the assets of a category, of course, you must see the category as well, but as one object can lie in multiple categories, you can have, of course, different rights here. And in the derivatives, you can see, for example, for whom is that right template available, and in the derivative rights, you would see, okay, which asset types are available in which format. Furthermore, within the permission management, you can also save search queries as an administrator and make them public for everybody, or you can even define filters in here, for example, approval by admin, and also specify who is allowed to use that filter or who is allowed to see that even. For further information, please don't hesitate to contact us at info@picturepark.com or visit us at www.picturepark.com. Many thanks and enjoy the other videos.